Good morning, everybody. So today we are going to be discussing in our good morning, everybody. Today we are going to be discussing in our economic subject second unit called it as an demography, human resource development. In that we are going to discuss in the topic called it as an demographic features, demographic features of Indian population. We are going to be discussing here. Demographic features of Indian population topic we are going to be discussing here. So in the demographic features of Indian population, we have already discussed what is actually the how the particular world population at the time of 1830 to 1930, so it will be 1 billion now. So within 30 years and within 15 years of period, within the 12 years of period, how that particular population, the world population has been increased, we have been discussed here. And the size and growth rate of a population in our India also we have been discussed here under the demographic features of Indian population. So the next one what we have to learn here, birth and death rate, death and infant mortality rate here. Birth and birth, death, birth, death, and infant mortality rate and infant mortality rate. Birth, death, and infant mortality rate here. So birth, death, and infant mortality rate here. So the next what we are going to learning, birth, death, and infant mortality rate here. So here growth rate of a population is a function of birth rate, growth rate of a population. The growth rate of a population is the function of the growth rate of population is the function of birth rate, death rate, and the level of level and direction of migration here. Level and direction of migration here. So in the Indian context, in our Indian context, migration is not migration means what here, shifting the people from one place to the another place is called it as in what here, migration. మైగ్రేషన్ అంటే ఏంటి, వలసపోవడం. అంటే ఒక ఒక స్థలం నుంచి ప్రజలు ఇంకో స్థలానికి వలసపోవడాన్ని ఏమంటున్నాం అక్కడ, మైగ్రేషన్ అని అంటున్నాం, వలసపోవడం. సో వలసపోవడము అంత ఎఫెక్ట్ ఏమి చూపించట్లేదు. So here in our Indian context, migration is not a significant factor. Migration is not a significant factor. Migration is not a significant factor and need not be considered here. So the migration concept is need not be considered in our India here. So the variations in birth and death rates, that the variations in our birth and death rates will provide the variations means the changes in the birth and death rates will provide an explanation of the population growth here. Will be providing an explanation of the population growth here. So the birth and death rates for the India are given in table. The birth and death rates of India are given in the table 2.2 here. So the growth of population was checked by the growth of population was checked by the high birth and the high death rate. The growth of population, growth of population was checked by the growth of population was checked by the high birth and high birth rates in the high birth and high death rates in the India. High birth and high death rates in the India before 1921 here. Before the period of 1921, there is a very high birth rates and also the high death rates here. So birth rate during 1901 to 1921, birth rate during the year of 1901 to 1921 fluctuated between the 46 and 49 per thousand population. 46 and 49 per thousand population, and death rates between the 44 and 49 here. 44 and 49 here. So the growth of population was little and negligible here. So the growth of population was what here, little and negligible. అంటే ఏంటి, ప్రతి 1000 మంది జననాల రేటుకి 46 నుంచి 49 జననాల రేటు ఉంటే మరణాల రేట్ ఏమి ఉంది, 44 నుంచి 49గా ఉంది. కాబట్టి ఏమైంది, అక్కడ జనాభా వృద్ధి రేట్ అనేది చాలా ఎక్కువగా లేదు, నెగ్లిజెన్స్ చాలా తక్కువగా వృద్ధి రేట్ అనేది చెందింది అన్నమాట. So it was so negligible here. So after the 2021, a clear fall in the death rate is noticeable here. After in the year of 1921, a clear fall in the death rate, a clear fall in the death rate is going to be noticeable. అంటే ఏంటి, మరణాల రేటు చాలా తక్కువకి పడిపోవడానికి కారణం మనం చూస్తున్నాం అక్కడ. సో డెత్ రేట్స్ విచ్ వాజ్ 48 per 6,000, 48 per 6, 48.6 per thousand in the year of 1911, 20 came down to 7.1 per thousand, 20 members per 1,000 birth rates. It has been reduced to 20 came down, but so it has been came down to 7.1 thousand in the year of 2010 to 2011. It has been reduced to every 1,000 births. So there is a death rate will be fallen down to 7.1% here. So here, but the birth rate showed a slightly decline. Birth rate, in the birth rate what it will be shown here, so there is only slight decline, అంటే చాలా తక్కువ తగ్గుదల రేటును నమోదు చేసుకుంది అనమాట. స్లైట్ డిక్లైన్, initially and due to family planning drive, due to that the family planning drive, birth rate also declined, that the birth rate also declined to 21.8 per thousand. It has been declined to how much here, 21.8 per thousand in the year of 2010 to 2011 we are going to be understanding here. So this is a means here there is a steady fall in the infant mortality. There is a steady, slowly there is a falling rate will be rising in the infant mortality rate. Infant means what here, the new birth children, 0 to 6 age group people. So 0 to 1 year group people here. So here the in the second stage, in the second decade of the 20th century, in the second decade, one decade will be consisting of 10 years of period. So the second decade means after the 2010 to 11. So the second decade of the 20th century, infant mortality rate was 218 per 1,000 live births, 218 per 1,000 live births, and it has now it is 47 per 1,000 live births in the year of 2010. In the year of 2010, how much it has been, 47 per 1,000 live births. Over the year, that the maternal mortality rate also declined here. Over the years, from the past 4 years, that the maternal mortality rate also has been declined. It was 210 per 1 lakh here, 210 per 1 lakh live births in the year of 2007 to 2009 here. So thus the high growth rate of population can be explained, thus that the high growth rate of a population can be explained in terms of high birth rate. High growth rate of a population can be explained with the in terms of the high birth rate and but relatively fast declining in the death rate. High birth rate, fast declining in the death rate here. So Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. So combined West Bengal, combined Andhra Pradesh means at the time before division of the Telangana, under the combined Andhra Pradesh. So West Bengal, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Punjab have achieved a birth rate below 20 per thousand. Birth rate has been achieved a below 20 per thousand. So here the states are in the third stage of demographic transition here. These are the stages where the states Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Punjab have achieved a birth rate below 20 per thousand. Birth rate has below 20 per thousand. These states are in the third stage of demographic transition. These states are there under the third stage of the demographic area of transition here. So but Haryana and Gujarat, which occupied a high place in India, Haryana and Gujarat are going to be occupied in a high stage, highest place in our India in terms for per capita income. They have been occupied in the per capita income and are far behind in reduction of birth rate here. Far behind. The states which are far behind in that reduction in the birth rate. Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Bihar. Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh have a very high birth rate in the range of 27 to 28 per 1,000 births. So 27 to 28 per 1,000 births here. So the states are in the second stage of demographic transition. Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar. These four states are going to be having the second stage of demographic theory of transition here. The second stage of demographic theory of transition here. So here that the mainly it is not easy to bring down the birth rate here. It is not so easy to bring down the birth rate here. So when the socio-economic conditions favor large families, when that the socio-economic conditions are going to when the socio-economic conditions are going to be favoring the larger families, still family planning has not become a way of life for many people here. Still that the family planning, has not become a way of life for the many number of the people here. So people attitudes towards the marriage, the family planning, people's attitude towards the marriage, family planning must change to achieve the substantial decline in the birth rate here. There is a substantial, means slowly decline will be arising under the birth rate here. So that is nothing but the birth and death rates in the infant mortality rate here. And the next one is the sex ratio. The next one is what here? The sex ratio. That the next one is called it as a what here? That the sex ratio here. So the sex ratio is defined as the number of females per 1,000 males. The sex ratio defines the sex ratio defines that the sex ratio defines as the defined as the sex ratio defined as the number of females per 1,000 males. Defined as the number of females per 1,000 males. So the sex ratio defines of what here? The sex ratio defines the sex ratio is defined as the sex ratio is defined as the number of females per 1,000 males. Number of females per 1,000 males here. So the sex ratio is going to be defined here. So the table 2.3 is going to be explaining that the table 2.3 is going to be explaining the sex ratio in our India here. In the end of that unit here. So the sex ratio defined from 972 in the year of 1901. The year of 1901. So 972 females per 1,000 males in the year of 1901. So the sex ratio shows the 972 females per the 1,000 males. So in the year of 1951, so the female sex ratio has been reduced to 946 per 1,000 males here. సో 946 అంటే ప్రతి 1000 మంది మగవాళ్ళకి ఆడవాళ్ళు ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారు? 946 తగ్గిపోయింది ఎప్పుడు 1951. And here that the 927, so it has been in the year of 1991 it has been reduced to 927 per 1,000 males here. So in the year of 1991, it has been reduced to how much here? So 927 for 1,000 males here in the year of 1991 here. So it is a disturbing feature. It is one of the disturbing feature. It is one of the disturbing feature of the sex ratio here. So subsequently there is a marginal improvement in the sex ratio. Subsequently there is a marginal improvement has been shown in the sex ratio here. So now it has been increased in the year of 2001. It has been increased to 933 per 1,000 males. So in the year of 2001, means within 10 years, there is a slow increase will be shown in the 933 females per the 1,000 males in the year of 2001. So in the year of 2011 census, according to the 2011 census, it has been shown 940 females per 1,000 males. 900 in 10 years. So there is an increase will be shown under the sex ratio. What is that here? So 940 females per 1,000 males in the year of 2011. level here. So Kerala alone shows the higher proportion of the females. Kerala alone shows the higher proportion of the females. Higher proportion of the females. That is nothing but 1084 females per 1000 males. Kerala. Kerala alone shows that Kerala state alone it is going to be showing in our India that the males here 1084 females per 1000 males in the year of 2011. This is according to 2011 census here. So this is according to the 2011 census here. So in Punjab and Haryana, in the Punjab and also the Haryana, female account for 893. That the females is going to be accounting for 893 and 872. Punjab and Haryana. Punjab and Haryana. In Punjab and Haryana, so here Punjab and Haryana accounted for 893 and 877. 877 per 1000 males. Per 1000 males in the year of 2011 respectively, which are at the bottom here. So with these two states are going to be having the bottom level of the sex ratio in our India here. So poverty, higher female infant mortality rates, higher female and the infant mortality rates, higher mortality rates among the women, higher mortality rates in women in reproductive age and sociological factors. Higher that the high mortality rate among the women, high mortality rate among the women and reproductive age, reproductive women in reproductive age prasutika. So and that the sociological factors include the sociological factors are going to be including a basis against that the female birth are responsible for declining the sex ratio here. Female birth are responsible for the declining the sex ratio here. So in the advanced Western countries, in our advanced Western countries, the proportion of women in total population is higher than that of the males here. So in the advanced Western countries, advanced అంటే ఆల్రెడీ డెవలప్ అయినటువంటి వెస్టర్న్ కంట్రీస్ లో ఏం చూస్తున్నాము. సో ద ప్రపోర్షన్ ఆఫ్ ఉమెన్ ఇన్ ద టోటల్ పాపులేషన్, ద ప్రపోర్షన్ ఆఫ్ ఉమెన్ ఇన్ ద టోటల్ పాపులేషన్ ఈజ్ హయ్యర్ దెన్ దట్ ఆఫ్ ద మేల్ హియర్, హయ్యర్ దెన్ దట్ ఆఫ్ ద మేల్. అంటే ఏంటి, అక్కడ పురుషుల కంటే స్త్రీల జనాభానే ఎక్కువగా ఉంది అభివృద్ధి చెందిన దేశాలలో, మన దేశంతో కనుక అభివృద్ధి చెందుతున్న దేశాలతో కనుక పోలిస్తే. సో దట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ ద సెక్స్ రేషియో హియర్. That is nothing but what here, sex ratio. And the next one we are going to be discussing of the age composition. The next one is what here, age composition. Age composition. The next one is called as an age composition. The next one is called it as in what here, age composition. The next one is called it as in what here, age composition. So the study of age composition is useful. To study of the age composition is useful in determining the proportion of labor force, determining the proportion of labor force in the total population. అంటే మొత్తం ఎంత శ్రామిక జనాభా ఉన్నారు, శ్రామిక జనాభాని ఏ విధంగా తీసుకుంటున్నాం, 15 నుంచి 60 సంవత్సరాల లోపు ఉన్న వాళ్ళని మనం శ్రామిక జనాభా కిందకి తీసుకుంటున్నాం. కాబట్టి అక్కడ ఎంత జనాభా ఉంది, ఎంత శ్రామిక జనాభా ఉంది, మొత్తము జనాభాలో శ్రామిక జనాభా ఎంత ఉంది అనే దాన్ని క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయడానికి మనం ఏం తీసుకుంటున్నాం, ఏజ్ కంపోజిషన్ ని క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయడం అనేది జరుగుతుంది అన్నమాట. సో ద స్టడీ ఆఫ్ ద ఏజ్ కంపోజిషన్ ఈజ్ యూస్ఫుల్. The study of the age composition is going to be useful in determining the proportion of the labor force, proportion of the labor force in the total population. How much proportion of the labor proportion is, means that the labor force is there in the total population. So this age composition is going to be helping for us here. So here the working age of the population is considered, that the working age of the population is considered, working age of the population is considered as 15 to 60 years. the working age of the population. The working age of the population is considered as how much here? 15 to 60 years. 15 నుంచి 60 ఏళ్ళ వయసు ఉన్న వాళ్ళని అక్కడ మనము వర్కింగ్ ఏజ్ పాపులేషన్ కింద తీసుకోవడం అనేది జరుగుతుంది. సో వర్కింగ్ ఏజ్ పాపులేషన్ విల్ బి క్యాలిక్యులేటెడ్ 15 to 60 years. Population can be treated in the form of a working age population here. So the table 2.4 indicates that the table 2.4 indicates that the proportion of child population child population will be of how much here? 0 to 14 will be taken as a child population. So which will be taken as a child population? 0 to 14 years. 0 to 14 years age group people. 0 to 14 years age group people will be taken in the form of an what here? That the child population here. 0 to 14 year age group people will be taken in the form of an what here? That the child means child population. Child population in the 0.0 to 14 years age group people is 35.6%. 35.6% in the year of 2001. So according to the 2001 census, so 0 to 14 year age group people will be, population will be showing off 35.6%. Means out of 100%, 35.6%. The left out person will be of that the old age and the working age group people here. So here that the 35.6% in the year of 2001 and this is the lower than that of the earlier figure here. So this is the lower than that of the earlier figure it is going to be showing. So the working age pertains to 15 to 16 years. The working age group people is going to be pertaining to 15 to 60 years. Is called it as a what here? Productive age group. 15 to 16 years also called it as a what here? Productive age group. Productive age group. The 15 to 16 year age group people will be also treated in the form of and what here? Productive age group people here. So 15 to 60 year age group people will be treated in the form of and what here? Productive age group people. అంటే వర్కింగ్ ఆ ఏజ్ లో వర్క్ చేయడానికి స్నేహితుగా ఉంటుంది. So here it is also called it as a productive age group. Both the child population and the old population are going to be that both the child population and also the old population. ముసలి వాళ్ళు చిన్న పిల్లలు 0 to 14 years age group people and the above 60 years. Above 60 years, all people are going to be dependent on this particular productive age group people only. Dependent on this particular productive age group people only 15 to 60 years. అంటే ఏంటి? పని చేయండి చిన్న పిల్లలు తర్వాత ముసలి వాళ్ళు అందరూ కూడా ఎవరిపైన ఆధారపడి ఉంటున్నారు? ఈ ప్రొడక్టివ్ ఏజ్ గ్రూప్ 15 నుంచి 60 సంవత్సరాల వయసులో ఉన్న వాళ్ళపైనే ఆధారపడి బతకవలసి ఉంటుంది. అవునా కదా? The working age pertains to 15 to 60 years is called it as a what here? Productive age group. Both the child population and the old population is going to be are dependent on the productive age for their particular maintenance and the subsistence here. వాళ్ళ బతుకుదెరువు కోసం వాళ్ళపైన ఆధారపడి ఉంటారు. So here there is a decline in the dependency load of the population. There is a decline in the dependency of the load of the population and increase in the share of the productive age group demographic dividend is likely to manifest in the gradual increase in the working age group of 15 to 16. So the 0 to 14 years group age people will be coming to the 15 to 16. So the productive age group people is going to, the population is going to be increasing here. So that a recent report from the United Nations population. So the recent report of the UN population means United Nations population report funds estimates population fund estimates that the dividends that estimates the India's working age population will reach to 65% by 2030. It has been reached to 65% to 2030. So that the working age, productive age group people percentage is going to be increased to 65% according to the UN population report funds report. So what they have been given, so the India's population is going to be increased to, productive age group population is going to be increased to 65% by the year of 2030 here, by the year of 2030. So India will also enjoy the longest demographic dividend. At that particular time, what will be happen here? So India is also going to be, India will also enjoy the longest demographic dividend. India is also going to be enjoying the demographic dividend compared to any other country till 2025 here, till the 2055, till 2055. So they can compete with any other country here. So the realization of the demographic dividend, the realization of the demographic dividend will depend on improving the healthcare levels, as well as the healthcare levels, as well as increasing the human resource development here, healthcare, and as well as the human resource development here. Human resource include health, education, these all will be skills, knowledge, these all should be developed here. So here a rise in the rate of economic growth, a rise in the rate of economic growth due to rising the share of working age people in the population is called it as a demographic dividend here. So what is actually the demographic dividend? Here what actually we are going to be knowing as a demographic dividend. So demographic dividend means that the demographic dividend means a rise in the rate of economic growth rate. A rise అంటే ఏంటి? increase in the rate of economic growth rate due to the rising share, means increasing share of the labor force, increasing share of the rising share of working age people. Working age people means nothing but what here? Productive age group people in the population, means a rise in the economic growth rate due to there is an increase in the working age population. Working age population in the working age people in the population is called it as an what here? That the economic dividend here is called it as an what here? Economic dividend here. So now you might have been known what is actually the economic dividend. అంటే ఏంటి? మొత్తం పాపులేషన్ ఎకనామిక్ గ్రోత్ రేట్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవ్వడం, దేనివల్ల? ప్రొడక్టివ్ ఏజ్ గ్రూప్ పీపుల్ పాపులేషన్తో ఇంక్రీజ్ అవ్వడం వల్ల అక్కడ ఎకనామిక్ గ్రోత్ రేట్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయితే దాన్ని ఏమంటున్నాము? అక్కడ మనము ఎకనామిక్ డివిడెండ్ అని అంటున్నాము. సో హియర్ దట్ ద rapid increase in the labor force, that the rapid increase in the labor force creates the pressure on certain the creation of employment opportunities. The rapid increase in the labor force, the rapid అంటే చాలా ఫాస్ట్ రేట్లో అక్కడ లేబర్ ఫోర్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయితే ఏమవుతుంది? సో దే ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు బి క్రియేటింగ్ ద ప్రెషర్, on creation of employment opportunities, So if economic growth does not create the employment, if the economic growth has does not create the employment, opportunities, so rapid growth of unemployment, that the rapid అంటే ఏంటి? చాలా ఫాస్టర్ గ్రోత్ రేట్ లో అక్కడ అన్ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ రేట్ కెనాట్ బి రూల్డ్ అవుట్, that the unemployment rate cannot be ruled out. This may create the social unrest and social ills in the society here. Social unrest and the social ills in the society. Social unrest అంటే ఏంటి? అక్కడ దొంగతనాలు, దోచుకోవడము, దొంగతనాలు పెరగడము, దొంగలుగా మారడము, ఇవన్నీ కూడా మనకి ఇంక్రీజ్ అవ్వడం అనేది జరుగుతుంది అన్నమాట. అంటే ఏంటి? ఎంత ఫాస్ట్గా అక్కడ జనాభా పెరుగుతుందో, అంటే గ్రోత్ రేట్, అంటే ప్రొడక్టివ్ ఏజ్ గ్రూప్ పీపుల్ శ్రామికుల శాతం పెరుగుతుందో అంత ఫాస్ట్గా మనము ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ ఆపర్చునిటీస్ అనేది క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ ఆపర్చునిటీస్ క్రియేట్ చేయకపోతే ఏమవుతుంది? అక్కడ అన్ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ రేట్ అనేది ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది. అన్ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ రేట్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవ్వడం, అన్ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ అంటే ఏంటి? నిరుద్యోగిత ఇంక్రీజ్ అవ్వడం వల్ల ఏమవుతుంది? అక్కడ ఏ జాబులు దొరకక, ఏ పని దొరకక ఏం చేస్తారు? వాళ్ళు దొంగలుగా మారడము, ఎదుటి వాళ్ళని దోచుకోవడము, దౌర్జన్యాలు చేయడము, ఇవన్నీ కూడా పెరిగిపోతాయి. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? సొసైటీలో రెస్ట్ అనేది ఉండకుండా, అంటే ఏంటి? ఎవరికి కూడా ప్రశాంతత అనేది ఉండదు. అంటే వాళ్ళకి ఉద్యోగము ఏది లేకపోవడం వల్ల వాళ్ళు ప్రశాంతతను కోల్పోయి ఎదుటి వాళ్ళ ప్రశాంతతను కూడా చెడగొట్టడం అనేది జరుగుతుంది. కాబట్టి ఏం చేయాలి? అక్కడ ఏజ్ కంపోజిషన్, దాని ద్వారా అక్కడ ఎంతైతే అక్కడ శ్రామికుల పర్సంటేజ్ అనేది పెరుగుతుందో దానికి అనుగుణంగా అక్కడ ఉద్యోగ అవకాశాలు అనేది కల్పించడం చేయాలి. ప్రభుత్వం అనేది నిర్ణయం తీసుకొని ఉద్యోగ అవకాశాలను కల్పిస్తే అక్కడ ఏమవుతుంది, సొసైటీ తర్వాత సోషల్ ఈవెంట్స్ అన్నీ కూడా అక్కడ రెస్ట్ అంటే సరిపోయినంత ఉద్యోగంతో ఉండడం వల్ల ప్రతి ఒక్కరు కూడా వాళ్ళ పని చూసుకోవడం ద్వారా ఏమవుతుంది, వేరే వాళ్ళని దోచుకోవడము, దొంగతనాలు చేయడం ఇవన్నీ కూడా తగ్గి అక్కడ మన ఎకానమీ అనేది ముందు అనేది అభివృద్ధి పథకంలో ముందుకు అనేది సాగడం జరుగుతుంది. సో దీంతో with this we are going to completed the topic called as a demographic features of the Indian population. So the topic has completed. So tomorrow we are going to discussing the next topic.